The unthinkable, now another step in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russian forces fired on the largest nuclear power plant in Europe, seizing control of the Zaporizhzhia facility early Friday morning. Ukraine said the Russians fired on the plant from all sides, setting fire to a building near the reactor and threatening to cause a nuclear disaster.
Russian Federation to contain shooting at the nuclear power plant. Unit 1, Unit 2 have damage.
A spokesperson for the plant says the fighting and the fire have stopped. The International Atomic Energy Agency says radiation levels are normal and workers are being allowed in to continue operating the plant at gunpoint, says the head of the power company.
It could have been 6 Chernobyls. The Russian tank, people knew what they were shelling. They were shelling this at close range. This was terror at a new level.
The crisis resulted in the UN Security Council holding an emergency meeting.
The world narrowly averted a nuclear catastrophe last night. Mr. Putin must stop this madness.
Russia has not let up its attacks across the country, maintaining barrages against major cities. High-rise apartment buildings obliterated in the town of Borodyanka, just over 30 miles northwest of the capital, Kyiv. A cell phone video shot in Kharkiv, interrupted by a strike on the city council building. Homes destroyed in the city of Cherniv.
The terrible expectation is that the suffering we've already seen is likely to get worse before it gets better for as long as Russia pursues these methods.
The Ukrainians have had at least one victory, successfully stalling the miles-long convoy advancing on Kyiv from the north, with direct attacks and by destroying a bridge on its route, according to the Pentagon. In the south, Ukraine still has control over the city of Mariupol, despite intense Russian strikes, according to a senior U.S. defense official. Residents there cut off from water and electricity. Meanwhile, Odessa is preparing for a possible Russian attack. A resident of the occupied city of Kherson says they're dealing with violence at the hands of the Russian occupiers. President Biden says it's clear Russian forces are intentionally targeting civilians as Ukraine accuses Russia of war crimes, an accusation the Kremlin denies. The International Criminal Court is investigating.
This is brutality. This is inhumane.
NATO has accused Russia of using cluster bombs, a devastating weapon that can kill indiscriminately, though a senior U.S. defense official says they can't confirm that type of weapon has been used.
They are geared to execute civilian casualties on a massive scale. So it's like having, on each rocket that lands, 100 small hand grenades falling.
But the U.S. and other NATO countries remain steadfast in their refusal to implement a no-fly zone, despite Ukrainian pleas.
The only way to actually implement something like a no-fly zone is to send NATO planes into Ukrainian airspace and to shoot down Russian planes, and that could lead to a full-fledged war.
Oren Liebermann, CNN, at the Pentagon.